Think about a time when your life changed overnight, when fate intervened, when all of a sudden your direction changed completely and you started going in a new direction. What happened to you could have been a traumatic experience, could have been a teacher, a, an intervention of some kind. For me, I was 19 years old, a sophomore at Cornell University, when my world changed overnight. I learned I was adopted. Now, what 19-year-old isn't trying to figure out who they are? I had extra homework. The rug was pulled out from under me. Who was I really? Where did I come from? One of my big questions was, what was religion? One of my mantras was, I could have been an orphan. I I didn't know what to make of it. It happened in a passport office. My parents, I grew up in a family where my grandfather lived with us. My grandfather had just passed away. We were getting ready to go on a trip the next summer out of the country, so we needed passports. And my father went and got the birth certificate. He never really read the birth certificate closely. When you're adopted, you get a new birth certificate. They seal the old one away, and a new one is issued with your adoptive parents' names on it. And he always thought they changed the place of birth to Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm in the passport office. It's my turn. The clerk says to me, "Where was I born?" I said, "Cleveland, Ohio." And the clerk looked down and said, "Why does this say Memphis, Tennessee?" And my very first thought, I mean, understand, this is not a story about enlightenment. This is not a story. I was pretty sound asleep. I was 19. I'm 6'1". My mother is 4'11" and my father's 5'5". I should have known. It seemed obvious. They had to sit me down for all the family pictures. And in that moment, happened to me. We went home, and my mother sat me down, and we had our talks in the breakfast room, and her way of letting me down easy was to let me know she too was adopted. That wasn't her father the 18 years that was living with us. And so I was shocked. The issue, who was I? I went back to school at the end of that vacation, not knowing what to do with this information. And I have to tell you, it started me on the journey. It is the backstory. It is what opened me to what was going on in this life. What was religion? Did God have something to do with it? How could I be so fortunate? I was in a loving family, but it was heavy. And I wasn't sure what to do with the information. There are a few side stories, but perhaps we'll get into them. I was motivated, for example, to work to help out my parents. I felt like I had been getting so much that I should contribute, and that alone led to a business at Cornell, led to my paying for all my schooling at Cornell without even realizing that it was this subconscious motivation to deal with my adoption. Until I met Susan. Susan was my girlfriend. And I think I'll leave that story for a different chapter. She really helped me get a handle on, to some extent, what was going on. Instead of it being so heavy, she helped lighten the load. And together we started on a journey of who was I? What were we doing here? All questions that I hope to give you some insight in as we turn to the series on life itself. So, know the background. This is really the beginning of my journey. Prior to that, I was a sound asleep 19-year-old. If this wakes you up, if you can look back and see when your life changed and what meaning it might have had, go with it. Thank you for your time.